I would like to just state an example, like a story. First day on the job, first day, very first day of my professional life, uh, we went to Japan, right? And day one, uh, we were told that the entire floor will meet us at the lift lobby, right? For our introduction and everything at 2 o'clock. Okay. Now, of course, it's a new place, beautiful place and everything. We are just loitering around after lunch. This was like right after lunch. Lunch hours is 1 to 2. And 2 o'clock, we have to meet at the lift lobby. Uh, at 1:55, we are just at the ground floor chit-chatting with other people. And the secretary of a boss is like huffing, puffing, and oh, where are you guys? Where are you guys? We're gonna get late, right? And said कि okay, अभी तो 5 मिनट बाकी है, मतलब क्या टेंशन क्या है, right? And uh, but no, चलो, let's go. So let's go, right? So three of us. Uh, Now we are on the eighth floor. It's lunch rush hour. There are many lifts, but it will take some time, right? So lifts took their own sweet time. We reached the floor at 2:02. Okay. Everybody on the floor was there. Okay. As soon as we get out of the lift, we get a round of applause. More to shame us. How can you buggers be 2 minutes late in Japan on your first day of work, right? And like very seldom in my life, I have felt so ashamed of myself, right? And since that day, right, I cannot get anywhere deliberately late, right? If I'm going to be 5 minutes late, I'm going to tell everybody beforehand that I'll be 5 minutes late, right? But more or less, I'll be before time possible, because I think it's just, but as Shobhata said, that it just sends such a wrong signal, right? And as you kind of keep rising, it's all about signals, right? So yeah.
Completely relate. Working for a Japanese organization right now, having been to Japan twice over the last year, this is very, very palpable, this particular example. And also what Shogoto said, right? Like culture takes a very, very long time to build, and it's super easy to destroy it by doing something that absolutely negates all of the behavior that's been built, right? So I think one of my at least strong takeaways or rather reinforcements in that belief is that role modeling, like there is no exception, right? There is no excuse for not role modeling the right behaviors. And it's almost as if with your behaviors, the way you're acting, the way you're presenting yourself, you're deliberately or unconsciously designing your organization to behave in a certain way, right? I remember my plant manager Manu again always said, right, like that org design is there's no mistakes in org design. It's deliberate, whether by omission or by commission. Your org is going to perform exactly how it's been designed, and only you are responsible in many ways from having designed your org. As we maybe move to sort of the end of the conversation, one of the last things that we wanted to understand from you is again something that's often talked about, very few people know how to do it, and it's usually done very poorly in most organizations, is the aspect of feedback, right? We've spoken about how you do things right, people will follow, but what happens when they don't? What happens when you have to have a harsh conversation with somebody? What is it when you have to tell someone that they're not living up to the mark? Especially more so in operations, if it's with folks who are very many in number, who are maybe at times older than you, or whoever it may be, right, in your organization that you have to give feedback to. How do you sort of do this, right? Have these candid, these sometimes uncomfortable conversations with people who report to you? How do you do it in a respectful, but at the same time in an effective manner that gets the point across? Do you have some concepts here that have worked for you, right, on giving feedback and ensuring that it works, but that it doesn't break morale at the same time because people aren't like upset by what has happened?
Sure. So see, first thing is, nobody wants to be lied to. Okay. And people very easily can understand that if you are bullshitting, right? So before you are able to give any feedback, right? The whole system, how do you drive trust, right? And that trust has to be driven by you, first of all, being very, very transparent about your own actions, right? That you are on a constant basis owning up to the mistakes that you are doing, right? And be very categorical about it that, okay, this is where I screwed up. I should have done this way. Maybe I should have checked with you or whatever, right? Uh, so, and so you have to, as I said, be very, very brutal to yourself, right? You have to be, before you are, to stop bullshitting anyone, you first have to stop bullshitting yourself, right? Because it is so very easy to lie to yourself. And then when you start lying to yourself, it then becomes very, very easy to lie to others, right? So when you start holding yourself to that standard, and people see that, right? Everybody sees that, right? And once that trust is established that yes, this person is truthful, then I think you have great leverage in being able to communicate anything that you want, uh, you know, in a respectful manner, right? And I've had many such conversations, and uh, it of course has to be pointed, right? It of course has to, you should have observed certain things. You should have data points to do that. And when the other person thinks that you are coming from a, coming with this feedback in a very genuine, methodological, and trustworthy manner, it is not as difficult as people make it out to be. Because in general situation, why this awkwardness comes in is that all the time you have chosen to behave, in a very patronizing fashion, or in a not very truthful fashion. And when suddenly the day of reckoning comes in, you yourself are afraid that, okay, I have been guilty of so much, and now I have to go and tell the other person that you are guilty of so much, right? And what if that person shows me the mirror? That, who the hell are you to tell me I'm wrong when you are wrong at so many counts, right? But when you yourself are admitting at the right points that you are guilty of that, then they have nothing on you, uh, right? And they know that, what you are also saying is coming with the best intentions, and in a truthful manner, and that just makes it much easier, right? So I think, again, it's something that people, because of their insecurities, make the situation more complicated than it probably is.
No, this is brilliant. I think, and there's so many examples that people give, right? The so-called shit sandwich, where you give feedback that's like, okay, you say something good, then say something harsh, then say something good again. But all of that is just pretense, right? Ultimately, none of that is necessary if your team trusts you to begin with, because they've seen you sort of uphold the behaviors and standards that you're now holding them accountable to, uh, all throughout, right? And whenever you've fallen short, as you said, you've owned up uh, to mistakes.